Hello everyone, welcome back again. And in the previous video, we are learning that how to redirect the admin user on the admin dashboard and simple user on the simple dashboard. I want to tell you one more thing here that administrator can also still visit the user dashboard, but simple user cannot visit the administrator dashboard, right? Okay, so now we want to implement the point system, right? So because our reward system, this one is a reward system course, so we want to assign some points to this user, right? So for example, if user come on our this application, and whenever he or she will be registered, so we want to assign some default points at the registration time, right? So how to do this? So let's log out this user and here implement this stuff, right? Okay, let's open it here, close this controller dashboard and these things. Okay, so now I want to create here. If I go to the database migrations, and in the migration I want to create the points column into this users table, right? But here I don't want to add this here, right? Because I want to show you that if you have some data in your application, so how to add the column using new migration, right? I will also teach you that, for example, you want to add this column here, not after this timestamp, right? So let's get started. Okay, let's create new migration. PHP artisan make migration. Okay, name of migration would be add you can also add here quotes, and you don't need to type the hyphen here. Add points column into user table, and here you can also specify your table name, right? If you specify the create, so Laravel migration will contain this create method, right? But if you will add this table, so whenever your migration will be created, it will contain the table method, which is used for use the existing table to add this column into the existing table, right? I want to use this existing table, right? So here I want to use this users, right? This one user. So now let's hit enter, and yes, migration is created at points column, and yes, it's contain the table one, right? And it's also here, right? So you need to also drop this column. So if I go here and I want to add the points column, right? So just type out table, and then here you need to specify your column. So what's the column name? So I want to add the column which is I want to assign the you can add the decimal or float, right? You can assign the float, but I think I don't want to add the points in the float, right? I want to add this an integer, so here I'm going to add this big integer. Remember, don't add this big increments. This one is you need to add this big integer. So what's the difference between big integer and big increment? So whenever you will add this big integer, so for example your value is 10, so when you will add the record another record, so it will made this value 11, and when you add another one, so it will made the value 12. So basically it's increment, so it's incrementing the value. So just add this big integer, and here I want to name this points, and in the default I want to make the 0 points, right? So whenever some user will be registered, no, I don't want to assign the 0. On the register time I want to assign the 0, but in the register controller, whenever our user will be registered, I want to assign this assign these points to this user. For now I want to assign this 0 points, right? Because we have only we have user is already created. So here I want to assign this 0 points, right? Okay, here we added that we want to create this column, but whenever our we want to roll back our all of the migration and this migration too, so we want to also roll back this column. So we don't forget to add this out here table and add drop column, right? And mention your column which we added above, points, drop column points. So whenever we will roll back our migration, it will not throw an error because we are removing this we are adding this column points, we are removing this out which we are adding this in the migration. Okay, great. So in here whenever we are using other table, like we created this one, so here we are using drop if exists, we are dropping full table, but here we created only columns, that's why we are dropping only one column here, right? Okay, great. So here I added these points and I have not specified here that where I want to add this points column. So for example, if I go here, I open this structure, so it will add the points column after this updated add column, right? At this point, right? But I want to add this here after this admin, right? But before this I want to execute no, I don't want to execute this, I just told you that how you can do this. So here add this after method and specify that after which column you want to add this points table. So I want to add this after this is admin, you can specify any of the one, you can also specify the primary key. Okay, I want to add this after this is admin, make sure to write it to correct spell, otherwise if you made any mistake, so it will throw an error, right? So here just type php artisan migrate because we created new migration and this will be now migrated, migrate. And yes, this one is migrated. It's also telling that how millisecond it takes and status is done. So now let's give it a refresh, and after this is admin, there will be a column points. And yes, after this column points column is added, the type is big int and default value is 0, right? That's awesome. And Laravel is amazing because we are not playing with the database, we are interacting with our application, and we are doing we are playing with our database. So that's awesome, I like this Laravel, that's why I consider myself as Laravel lover, because Laravel contain a lot of things that made the development very easier. So that's why I love Laravel very much. And believe me, there will be a lot of jobs for this Laravel Laravel framework, right? For now, it's have a lot of jobs, and recently in 2 years, Laravel is more popular. You can see that it's 5 times more popular than previous one, right? And it's going more powerful. Why? Because it's contributing a lot of other languages, like it's added the Vue.js, so bootstrap, tailwind css, also added the aws configuration, digital oceans, and Laravel community is very large. So you are very lucky that you are becoming Laravel developer, right? And I want to say congratulations and hope you will become a master in the Laravel. I'm very sure because I'm shooting this in a very structured manner where you will learn the technical skills and also other skills like professional developer skills and some theoretical things, right? Okay, so here we have this user, and now we need to implement this. Whenever user is registered, we want to assign some points. Okay, let's go to the app http controller auth, and this auth is by default installed when we install the Laravel UI package. So this auth directory came here, and this one is a register controller, which is whenever we are registering our user detail here, and clicking on this register, so it's executing this register controller, right? And after this it's redirecting this on the home, so it's validating its name, email, and this thing, and it's getting this user here, right? So here we can create the default points to this user. Okay, so here mention the points, right? And we want to assign some default points, right? So if you are sure that maybe on the some points, so you need to change these default points to 10 to 20 or 50 or something, and you maybe you deliver this application to someone which you want to change the default points. So the one thing is you can create a separate CRUD for this where he can change the default value. But the other thing is, as a developer point of view, you can add this into the env file. So if someone know about little bit know about some hosting, so you can go to the env file and change the default value, rather than he is going to this register controller and change this default points. So just go to the env file, and here at the bottom of this file, here type default default points, right? Default points, and then assign this point. I'm assigning this 10, right? And then make sure to not use this env variable directly. Why? Because whenever your application will be cached, so these values wouldn't be updated. So make sure to add this into the config directory. Here you need to create a new file or add into the previous one, right? Okay, whenever we will execute the command this php artisan config clear, so it will clear all of the config, right? And then your application is using this value in this config, so this will be also clear, right? Otherwise, if you will use this env variable directly, so this will not be cleared, and if you change this 50, it will still return the 10, right? So make sure to use this in the config, right? So here I'm adding this a new file, and what should I name this, right? So I'm doing this, you can say that reward.php, right? I want to make this descriptive name. So here php, and then you need to add an array, right? Return, and like this, and here you need to specify your key. So I want to assign the default points, and then assign the value of env variable, which is default points, like this. Save this one, and now how to use it here in the register controller. So don't use this env directly, you can use this here default points like this. But as I told you, whenever your application will be cached, so this cache will not be cleared whenever you will enter this php artisan config clear. So make sure to add this config here, and then you need to specify your file name. So in our case we have this reward, right? In the reward we have default points, right? So I'm writing it completely because I don't want to confuse my students. So now this one is added here like this, and whenever someone enter this config clear, so it will clear this value, right? So that's the way to use the env variable. So believe me, when I don't know about this one, so I'm saying that this one is an extra step, right? So when I watch a video about this one, so then I also faced this an issue, and then I realized that why this one is mandatory. So that's why I'm forcing you to use this out, right? Okay, save this one. Default points value is set in the env. So now let's register a new user. I'm entering a dummy user here using fake filler chrome extension. If you don't know what's fake filler chrome extension, So just type this fake filler Chrome extension, click on this fake filler, and install this fake filler, right? So basically it's used to fill the fake data. If I click on it, it's just edit this name, email, password, confirm password, right? So it's easy to fill the form and test the form. Okay, let's click on this register here. Isra Silva. If I go here, click on this browse, and it still have 0. So did you notice why it's 0? I know that why it's 0, because we forgot to add these points into the user fillable model property. Open this user model here, because whenever we are registering our user, we are using this user model, right? This user model, and here we need to add this points into this fillable property. If you are not aware about this fillable, basically fillable is we are allowing the Laravel to enter these columns values into our database. So now let's register a new user. Let me log out this, click on register, refresh, Kalia wrote register, click on this refresh, and boom, the 10 points are there, and now it's filling our value, right? So whenever a new user will be registered, so it will get the 10 default points, right? So this one is overview of how user will get the default points, right? And in the next step, we need to implement the administrator stuff, that how administrator will assign some points to the specific user. So administrator can also assign some points to a simple user, right? So for this, we can also add this in the admin dashboard too, and we can also integrate the administrator dashboard template too, right? I'll take the decision, and will tell you in the next video that what I'm going to do. And if you like this video, subscribe this channel and share it with your friends, so in this way you can support me and I will shoot more course like this. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will meet you in the next one. Bye bye guys.